Security, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, California. United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, California. For regularly scheduled marine information broadcast, switch and listen channel 1022, 22 alpha, frequency 157.1 megahertz out.
Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there. Taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery, you can see the state of California, and you can also see, if you look closely, you can kind of see the remnant circulation of what was Tropical Storm Douglas. It didn't last long, but it is spreading some moisture northbound. There may even be a little bit of precipitation coming across Southern California and then maybe riding up across some of the state here as we go on in through the next day or so. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at the ridge that's likely to develop here across portions of California and then really get established across a lot of the Intermountain West here, and the possibility for monsoon moisture to come flooding back up into here to portions of California here as well. So let's go ahead and dive into things here. And if we look at the Doppler right now, you can see there is some echoes showing up there. Let me know if any of that is reaching the ground, across the coastal area there. There's San Diego County, up towards Orange and Los Angeles County, and some of this may spread upwards, northwards as we go through the day today. If we scroll all the way back through the day yesterday, you'll notice we did get a few thunderstorms. You can see the cumulus clouds and some lightning strikes right there, mainly south of Lake Tahoe there. We did get a few lightning strikes there north of Lake Tahoe there as well. Then, of course, we go through the nighttime hours. Those died down. We come back out towards this morning. And again, you can kind of see that moisture moving up towards Southern California. And you can see the marine layer elsewhere towards Monterey Bay and the Bay Area and all the way up towards the northwest California coastline. So just a reminder here, if you do see any new fires, report them, call law enforcement, dial 911, and of course you guys know the drill on how to prevent fires going forward. Taking a look here at composite reflectivity. So this is the high resolution model here, and so if we put this into motion, again, you can kind of see some of these showers coming up as we go through the day today, and some high and mid-level clouds associated with that are going to be given perhaps a nice scene there for some of the fireworks as we go through tonight. That's about firework time right about there, 10 o'clock, there's 11 o'clock there. So yeah, it's not like a big washout or anything coming here, just a few scattered showers associated with it. Then as we go on in through later tonight into tomorrow morning, you can see some of that coming up towards the Bay Area there, and yeah, it shouldn't amount to too much, but again, it may kick off a few showers as we go through the day tomorrow. And then when you look on in towards Monday, it does pop off a few showers, maybe right across the Oregon-California border and right across the east slopes of the Sierra Nevada as we go on in through Monday afternoon. Now, there's that Douglas. It's just a very low chance that it may redevelop out there, but again, it did spread some moisture our way. And if we take a look at just kind of an open wave right now, and again, some of that moisture trying to make its way up towards California. It's already here actually, but yeah, that's all that we really got out of Douglas there. Now, taking a little bit of a look at the extended forecast. So couple things going on. First things first, the European Artificial Intelligence on the on the left versus its ensemble mean here on the right. Now, if I put that into motion, you can see pretty good agreement that that ridge starts to develop here across portions of California. Still got some zonal flow off to the north, but the ridge is going to be getting stronger here as we go on into this upcoming week. And then that ridge hangs with us a little bit, starts to move off to the east and starts to get quite strong across some of the region here. There's Colorado, Wyoming. This trended a little bit east here over the last couple of days here, and it was showing this ridge a little bit further west as we went through the end of next week and on into the following week. Now, that ridge is still there, but as you can see, there's a trough up our coastline here, and this would really help funnel some of that monsoon moisture back up into California, perhaps all the way up into Oregon, Washington as well, and across Nevada as we go. So that it's going to be coming as we go on in through, next week and on in through the following week. So that's something we will be watching, as you can kind of see that ridge still large and in charge on the ensemble mean across the Four Corners region as we go out towards, July 17th shown there. Now, if we take a look at that artificial intelligence, again, some of that moisture kind of, you saw that little blurb kind of move up across the region. But if we go off into the extended a little bit further, again, the high starts to get established, and this is what would be that monsoon moisture. Finally seeing some precipitation amounts start to show up in the model runs with that. You can kind of see it hangs with us for a few days. For example, that would be July 14th. Kind of some weak troughing off the coastline there, and again, that monsoon moisture coming back up. You can see all that monsoon moisture firing up across the Sierra Madre down there in Mexico as well. So yeah, could be some active weather coming our way. We just have to wait a little bit for it. And I got to back up here again, and we'll see some of that moisture showing up. What is that? You're still looking, 7, 8, 9 days off in the forecast. So we'll be watching it, but the models have been pretty straightforward showing that monsoon activity coming as we go through the mid portion of July. And look at it, precipitable water. This is the ensemble mean. We'll scroll through. In fact, let me back up there. That is that surge of Douglas right here. You can see that spreading some of the moisture northbound up and across the state. And then we start to look off into the future, and there it goes. There's that monsoon signal. Still about, 168. So over a week out still right now. But you can see that monsoon moisture coming up across western portions of the USA and kind of hanging tough there all the way through about July 18th at least. Now, if we look at the ridge position here, this is the chances of getting at least 594 meters. Sorry, a little bit of a tongue twister, having trouble today. But you can see where that ridge position is supposed to be, and this is when it's really going to start to bring that southerly flow and that monsoon moisture back in again as we go out 200 hours plus into the forecast, generally speaking. Now, check me out on Worldwide Weather Watch if you would as well. I'll be discussing things like heat domes across the rest of the planet, any super typhoons out there, or just any interesting weather that goes on. I did release a video there yesterday as well. So now a running 5-day look here at temperatures shows something interesting. You can kind of see things generally warm up across the state. Not so much for the coast here, north of the Bay Area and the Bay Area kind of staying below normal, but you'll also notice some below normal start to come in here, and that's the cloud cover from that monsoon moisture starting to roll into the region. And of course, this could affect places up and down the Great Valley, across the Sierra Nevada, and even out towards the coastline. Monsoon moisture can get under these setups. So yeah, there's the 5-day running average temperature outlook. And if we look at what is going on here today, again, this is Saturday, July 4th, 4th of July. Redding, Red Bluff up towards 100 degrees here. A lot of 90s, 97 for Bakersfield, Modesto, Stockton, probably mid-90s, Sacramento, low 90s. If you want to beat the heat, you get towards the Bay Area, and especially towards the coastline where there's plentiful 60s all the way up and down, even towards some of the central coast, down towards Port Conception, and even down towards, Santa Barbara. Probably upper 60s, low 70s out there. But again, if you get inland there, you're warming up pretty dramatically. Death Valley up over 110 degrees. Las Vegas over 100 degrees there as well. Or if you want to cool down again, you can go across some of the Sierra Nevada. Now, if we go through the next few days, you see a little bit of a cool down tomorrow. There's Sunday, July 5th. We go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Kind of a little bit of a warm up as we go through the upcoming week there. But then again, the monsoon moisture is probably going to be making its way in towards the end of this run. So again, we'll just be watching that as we go. There's the 8 to 14 day. This was updated yesterday. And again, you can see the big above normal there, that ridge setting up shop here as we go through the mid portion of July. And that monsoon moisture, again, starting to creep in there. It does include portions of California now. Maybe some exciting weather again as we go on in through the mid portion of July. Also a risk of subhazardous temperatures with this ridge setting up. How far will that west will that get? Good question, but nothing we can do right now, but just kind of watch it. It is still a ways off in the forecast. 3 to 4 week was also issued yesterday, and you can see the above normal temperatures there, and you can see the monsoon moisture also showing up in the extended forecast all the way through the end of July, potentially anyway. But yeah, check me out on Facebook and Patreon. Hope you guys are having a fun 4th of July. Otherwise, stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's forecast.
4th of July is coming up. 250 years. That's how long it's been since a handful of guys in Philadelphia put their names on a piece of paper and told the most powerful empire on earth to go pound sand. This 4th of July, America turns 250 years old. I remember when Hey everybody, Chuck Holton here. 4th of July is coming up. 250 years. That's how long it's been since a handful of guys in Philadelphia put their names on a piece of paper and told the most powerful empire on earth to go pound sand. This 4th of July, America turns 250 years old. I remember when it was 200. You're going to hear the Declaration of Independence read out in 1,000 town squares, I bet. You're obviously going to see fireworks. You're going to hear the same 3 lines that everybody always quotes. But there's a speech almost nobody remembers. And the guy who gave it was about as close to the founding as you can get without actually standing in the room in 1776. His father actually signed the Declaration. He grew up to become the 6th president of the United States. And near the end of his life, he stood up and explained what this whole American thing actually rests on. It wasn't muskets, it wasn't parchment. He said it was God. And he described George Washington being handed a suit of armor forged in heaven. So let me tell you what that speech is. The guy is John Quincy Adams, son of John Adams, the 6th president. By the time he gives this, he's an old man. He's back serving in Congress near the end of a life spent almost entirely in public service. The year was 1839. The New York Historical Society asked him to speak on the 50th anniversary of the day George Washington took the oath of office. And Adams calls the whole address the Jubilee of the Constitution. Now, Jubilee is a Bible word. It comes out of the book of Leviticus. Every 50 years, debts get wiped clean, captives go free, and the people proclaim liberty throughout the land. That last line is the one that they cast onto the Liberty Bell. So Adams isn't reaching for that word by accident. He's telling a room full of New Yorkers that America itself is a jubilee. It's a nation built on release, on liberty, on a debt somebody else paid. Then he asked them to picture the night before Washington took that oath. In the picture, Washington's guardian angel comes to him in the form of his own mother and hands him armor made in heaven, a helmet of piety, justice, honor, and benevolence. A spear studded with what Adams called the self-evident truths of the Declaration, the same sword Washington had carried through the entire war. And last of all, the Constitution itself, which is a shield, in Adams' words, embossed by heavenly hands with the future history of the country engraved across the face of it. Now, I want you to understand what he did right there. This is a founding era statesman who's standing up in New York, and he's telling the crowd that the Constitution came down out of heaven like a soldier's shield. Now, that's not how they teach it now. Now we get 3 quotes, a barbecue, and a mattress sale. The poetry has an argument buried inside it. Adams goes back to the Declaration, and he points out that very first move it makes, before it lists one single complaint against the king, is to appeal to the laws of nature and nature's God. And Adams says you can't just walk past that line. It assumes a God, a moral ruler over the whole universe, a rule of right and wrong that was already true and already binding before anybody wrote a constitution or counted a single vote. That's the whole thing for Adams. Your rights don't come from the king. They don't come from the parliament. They do not come from 51% of the people voting on a Tuesday. They come from God, and government exists for one reason and one reason only, and that's to guard what God already handed you. Pull that foundation out, and everything sitting on top of it is just raw power dressed up in nice language. Adams warned explicitly about that. He walked his audience through the first thing the founders built, which was not the Constitution, it was the Articles of Confederation. And it nearly killed the country in the cradle because it was built on the power of the states instead of the rights of the people.
The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States are parts of one consistent whole, founded upon one and the same theory of government.
Now, Adams says the Constitution was the founders catching their own mistake and retracing their steps back to the foundation of the Declaration. He said the cornerstone of the one was power and the cornerstone of the other was right. And with the Constitution, they went back to right. And Adams claims the whole machine runs on virtue, not the government's virtue, the people's virtue.
The cornerstone of the one was the sovereignty of the people. That of the other was the sovereignty of law.
A republic like this one, like ours, lasts exactly as long as the people stay good and not one day longer. The paper doesn't save you. The character of the people is the thing that holds it up. And the day that character rots through, then the paper isn't really worth much. He points out something small that most of us walk right past. Every single person who holds office in this country, from the president on down, has to swear an oath. Adams says that oath is not just a legal formality. It drags God into the room. It means the office holder is not only answerable to a courtroom down the street, he's answerable to a judge who sees everything and forgets nothing. They built that in on purpose. Then Adams says something you'll flat out never hear out of a sitting official. He says there are two qualities it takes to be a genuinely great leader, and they usually cancel each other out: the spirit of command and the spirit of meekness. Now, the strength to lead and the humility to serve under something higher than yourself. And Adams says those two things have been held in perfect balance exactly one time in the history of the human race, in the life of the Savior of the world. One man, and then he holds up Washington, not as a god, never as a god, but as the closest a mortal man ever came to that example. That ought to stick with us. Washington didn't march toward power with a grin on his face. Adams reads from the man's own diary. Washington wrote that leaving home to become the president felt like a condemned man walking to the place of his own execution. He said the only two things he could promise the country were integrity and firmness. Everything past that, he leaned on the providence of heaven. That is the father of our country. He was anxious, humble, and leaning hard on God. And then Adams leaves a warning, and 250 years down the road, it hits me harder than it did the day he said it, I think. He said the thing that actually holds the union together was never the law, it was the heart. His words, the bond between us is not in the right, but in the heart. He said, if the day ever comes when Americans stop loving one another, when the affection between us cools into cold indifference and then hardens into hatred, then no document on earth is going to hold this thing together. He said that we would be better off parting as friends than staying shackled together as enemies. That's a former president of the United States saying that out loud in 1839. Now look at where we are right now. And that warning reads like it was written this morning. Adams opened that entire speech with an old line from the Roman writer Cicero, the idea that a wise man plants trees he'll never sit under. He plants them for the age that comes after him. That's exactly what the founders did. They planted something not one of them lived long enough to see grow. And this 4th of July, 250 years later, we're the ones sitting in the shade of it. The least we can do to pay them back is to remember what they planted it in. Not power, not paper. They planted it in the conviction that our own rights come from God and that no king and no mob can vote them away, and that a free people only stands free as long as it stays good. You lose that, and the tree doesn't care how old it is. The tree's coming down. So if this is the kind of history you want more of, the parts that they quietly stopped teaching some time ago, go to chuckholton.com and become a supporter. You get early access and you get bonus material and a monthly call with me. That's what keeps this whole operation running. And that's how we keep telling the stories that you want to hear. So happy Independence Day. God bless this 250-year-old republic. And God bless the men who planted it and never got to see it grow. We'll see you next time.
They defend our liberties and freedoms every day. Aircraft you'll see all day are routinely deployed around the world as
No. No, no, nothing today. Nothing. Nothing today. Nothing today. It's the west weather changes and it got hot.
Board stations back to you, Adri Brian, go ahead. Be prepared by Lola, the starboard side, half meter above water, surveyors on the way for sampling.
Loud and clear. America's Cup Harbor.
you go.
There's a wheel on your boat. Beach house, Kokomo. Hey, beach house, want to take it to 6-8? Kokomo to 6-8.
Very nice. Oh man, this is 250, 76. Oh my goodness, I should have put this one, this one back. I'm gonna have this one instead, man. Oh man. Oh man, this is so cool. I was maybe guys. Oh man. This is good. But down it, if you're gonna see the whole web page. I am my own. 215. Not even at all, y'all. No, this is yeah, but this is good. Yeah, yeah, you should have took her. There you go. And it's a fun. Yeah, man. Oh, wow. My guess is probably who has things. Yeah.
There was a lawyer once, his name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure we go, however, to a ball game, we stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling, every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when it had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid.
Oh, say, can you see by the
man, that's bad. Oh, so I mean, that was today. Yeah, very nice. It's I think we got $250 hats, so it's airs and probably. It's the bombs. I understand. It's in the home of the brave. Oh, say does that. That's just everything about it. That's a problem. He's trying to explain it. You keep on making it. Oh, just means you want to suck. And he got up. Well, tired up. Well, some of the reports got in was killed, but now once it's been. It's only minutes. It's only this. I think after I signed it, well, I made it after the jumps. My mom was killed. Oh, so it's a program. So it's a program. We want to go back to a message. No. No. Oh, no problem. I'm gonna release it. I'm just gonna, no problem. I'm gonna try to let you know. I like feel like a little kid between so that way. She's not really kidding anymore. She's not like that. Because she ages acts. And you say, I don't know if there is one. I don't know. I can't see it. I really badly like that now. Okay, so what exactly does she do? So, this is on the film. Yes and no. She said also that the device is. No, it's home.
About like 7 yards until we're going to be right over the anchor. How's the tautness of the line? The tautness of the line. How tight is the line? Not tight at all. Wimpy as fuck. It's straight down. It's going straight down. It's not even at an angle.
Securite, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. For Coast Guard Safety Marine Information Broadcast concerning degraded VHF FM. Listen,
On a
channel
monitor back on
22,
16 in case
22
anybody hollers.
Alpha, frequency 157.1 megahertz.
Trying to see what this bow in front of us does. Alright, I'm heading back. Mr. May. Copy.
No.
We're going everywhere.
I know, right?
Good job, man.
It's all for you, but so I'm trying to hurry up something on this thing, dude. I'm just trying to fire this thing, Well, it's kind of on the deal. See? That's me. He's like, anything with a stupid noise. Anything
Security, all stations, all stations, all stations. United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, Palm. United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, Palm. United States Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, Palm. Coast Guard safety police broadcast with Santa Barbara channel. Listen channel 22 Alpha 1020 157.1 megahertz Alpha.
Security, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is Sailing Vessel San Salvador. We're about a mile off of the Cabrillo National Monument. We will be firing a blank round in salute to the Cabrillo Monument in approximately 5 minutes. All stations, this is a San Salvador standing by channel 16, out.
Bay 8, News 24 is calling.
Right here beside us, one more over. Right here on our left, one boat, on our port side. Cabo, you're right.
Alright, let's go 5 northeast. 5 northeast.
Hey?
No way. Good, man.
5 northeast. You got it.
I miss my chocolate.
Oh, shit. He was new this morning. So much latte.
Anybody want to make more chop?
Look at me, I've got a big boat.
Oh, this is an emergency channel. Please stay off it. Chape, chape, chape. What's up, brother man? Hey, have fun. All right. You got your tower and everything. Yeah, brother, that's right. I'm stoked. Hit or miss lately, but been okay, consistent. I'm about to come over there and visit you. You gonna be in Avalon or Two Harbors? Right on. Well, I'll keep in touch, my friend. Good luck and safe right out there. Yeah, brother. You got me? Austin on Park here.
South, they should be well ahead of you. They're heading to,
That bigger baleen well. Is anybody else on that one? Appreciate it. When I screwed up that way. Thank you. Thing. Appreciate it. I'm cruising up that direction right now. Jersey girl, romancing the wind.
Outgoing Bravo Tier 1 is on him. Got nothing, good to go.
Ooh, let's do a port to port, you filthy animal. Quality today, especially in this zone. All right, well, have a good day. Last. Get as close as you like.
Vans is stuck.
Seal Balboa, Seal Balboa, this is Carnival Friends, channel 16. Yes, this is the Carnival Friends, can you please go channel 06? Seal Balboa, Carnival Friends, do you copy? We are requesting at least 1.5 nautical miles CPA. Dolphin.
Beach house, beach house, beach house. Kokomo. Beach house, beach house, beach house. Kokomo. Beach house, beach house, beach house. Kokomo.
Pon, 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 pon. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is the United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. July 4th, 2026, 0117 local, 0817 universal coordinated time. The Coast Guard received a report of an overdue 30-foot white Santana vessel named Real Bad Gato.
26, we're all good on base.
Last seen June 17th in the vicinity of San Clemente Island, Hawaii. All vessels are requested to keep a sharp lookout, assist if possible, and report all sightings to the Coast Guard. Break. This is the United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. Out.
The rock. Over the rock.
Vessel Bellin, Shimada, this is Sector San Diego on channel 16, over. Bellem Shimada, this is Sector San Diego on Channel 16, Roger, Captain. You'll be conducting flare drills in approximately 1 hour. Over. Bellem Shimada, this is Sector San Diego, Roger. You will be conducting pyrotechnic training from now until roughly 14:30. Thank you for the information. Sector will be standing by on channels 16 and 22 Alpha. Out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just checking.
Do you turn the horn switch on in the paddle, please?
It's on.
I guess it doesn't work up here then. No further honking.
Switch on your left also. That could be for some power up there.
This is Towboat US, over. Okay, sir, are you in Mission Bay?
Alexander Rose, over.
Skipper with the pontoon boat, are you in Mission Bay?
Dolphin returning.
6-8.
Say again?
Okay, we got a boat ready to go over there. I'll have Casey come and talk to one of your guys. Roger that.
Do you make it over here?
Alexander Rose, Dolphin, channel 16.
Dolphin 6-8, please.
6-8.
Is Jason on board today?
Oh, you got Nano. Who's this?
An acquaintance of him and friend of his mother's.
Right on, right on. Now he's got the day off during the holiday.
Well, that's what I figured. He just went by us. We're over here by the seals.
Roger. All right. Well, you guys have a good day. I'll let him know you called. What's your name?
Dave Glassford, Alexander Rose is the boat.
Roger. All right. Well, I'll let him know you said hello. You guys have a safe day.
We did the Christmas cruise thing with him this year.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Yeah. Right on. Doing it again?
We get invited. Do you guys still got the Puddle Pirate on board, or did he find a new duty station?
Are you talking about the older guy? What's his name?
No, you guys had a young crewman that was in the active duty in the Coast Guard also?
Oh, yeah. He's still around. He's still in the Coast Guard, but he's got other extracurricular things going on. He's here and there.
4-10-4. Hey, did they get more than anchovies now, or are they only peddling anchovies still?
Kind of been hit or miss. We've been getting some. Like yesterday, we got some of that pinhead chove. Today, we ended up with
Security, all stations, all
We're on the
stations,
street
all
is
stations.
big boats are having a hard
United States
time.
Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego.
Fourth
United
day
States
without
Coast Guard,
them
Sector
dropping
San
off bait.
Diego.
I think the
For Coast Guard
cash
Safety
sales-
Marine Information Broadcast concerning degraded VHF FM.
Yeah, I was
Listen.
looking and
Channel
didn't bother to
10,
get bait this weekend.
22 Alpha,
It's
frequency
supposed to be
157.
nasty out there at 5 seconds, and no real bait, so anchovies don't hold up too good.
Yeah, some of the stuff they got a little beat up already. Especially that real little stuff. That little stuff doesn't last for nothing.
That's why I didn't bother getting bait. So it's just watch fireworks this weekend. All right, well, you guys have an awesome half day, and go get some bottom fish and have some fun.
Master biting. Save the bottom fish for another few months. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have 4th of July.
To you guys. Rose out, back to 16.
little boy. You're whiter than that. You're uglier. Stop calling me. I'm gonna kill you. Hi. I heard you. I barely heard you. I heard you loud and clear. Do you copy me? Excuse me. You are so weird. Don't you?
Back so you can get in here.
What's wrong with you?
Bird is the word. Birdern coming out. Checking in.
Paddle boarders and boats. All the things flying.
Is this your dad's office? No. Do you like boats? Remember the time when we rode on top of the boat on the deck going really fast? Remember the time when we rode on the boat deck really fast?
Well, up north, I might try to make a run for. Is that true?
No.
Past 50 up there?
You are weird.
Prenup, are you up on this one? Yeah, that might be just out of my range. I appreciate the comeback. Thank you so much.
Anyways, big bag. Olive, tell crew I love him. Be quiet.
Oh, brutal. All right. Well, sounds like you have everything pretty well covered, but well, I'll give it a second look. I appreciate it. Roger. All right. Well, hopefully something shows up. I appreciate it. that is doable. Awesome. Are they moving quick or just kind of slow? 23. That. All right, cool. Yeah, that's something to point towards. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I couldn't really hear you. I'll talk to you later.
Take her up a little bit. Yeah, we can go up just a little bit, like towards the...
Cool, I'm coming.
This is some bottlenose, like northeastern edge of the bank moving up, like 40 and a half and 25, working up the line. Go. Yeah, I got you, brother. Moving over more seaward, hopefully, and we're gonna... From Ironclad, see that buoy over the swim buoy to my bow? Go and then be close to these boats. Well, that's up to you if you want to go make contact, so you can tie up to them. Or we can just drop anchor and turn back to them. Copy, don't be afraid to deploy toxic Tiffany as needed.
True blue, true blue, true blue. Dark side, come in. We're in the harbor. Where are you at? Are you coming out?
On the, okay. Yes.
Ready to tie up. I don't know if I tie him up on the starboard side, then that would be logical for you to tie up first. I'll let him know it's kind of a temporary tie up and he may have to drop off and retie it the other side of you or something. Or I can investigate putting him on the other side here, on the other side of a friend's boat here. I'll check it out. Anyway, we'll be ready for you one way or the other. Over.
Okay, copy all. Yeah, go ahead and maybe do a tie or figure out a solution on the other side. Just maybe leave it up a little bit and drop in the hook also.
Okay. Okay, then I will leave the starboard side open for you then, and you can drop the hook and then drop back, I guess. So, over. Come straight on in towards the beach, kind of towards your old spot, just a little bit south of it, perhaps. All right?
Al right here. I'll get out of your way. You're bound towards that green boat if you want to end up by those. If not, just pull over here, anchor, and then we'll just all tie up. Yeah, drop it right there and just drop a bunch of chain. Like, try to drop a bunch right there. Yeah, I would drop a ton. Just drop a bunch. As much as you can right there. You're finally swinging. Yeah, they're all over. You just gotta look for them. The wheelhouse. Chris, Sanders on port side.
DM Tapper, just dreaming, 1-6.
DM Tapper returning, 1-6.
Can we go 1-3?
Yeah, 1-3 works.
Tapper, just dreaming.
Just stream, DM Tapper returning, 1-3.
Hey, I'm pulling back here. I want to get onto the other side of you, onto your starboard side, so I'm going to slow down here, go across your stern. I copy.
Alright, very good. I'll keep my speed and you'll take my turn. Sounds good. DM Tapper.
Just dreaming, standby 1-6, 1-3, 88 off.
call me, but you're coming in broken. Just. Good copy. All right, awesome. I'm racing over there. I appreciate it.
Securite, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. United States Coast Guard, Sector San Diego. For Coast Guard Safety Marine Information Broadcast concerning degraded VHF FM, listen, channel 1022, 22 Alpha, frequency 157.1 megahertz, out.
That we've had in a while. Again, if you want to show us what it looks like out there in your neck of the woods, send us pictures and videos to ryanhallyall.com/submit. Insane flooding in Iowa. The soccer field is underwater. Look at this. We can't even play the World Cup. Look at this. Absolutely buried with water. There's another, a big tree down out here in Pennsylvania. And more flooding. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Significant flooding out there from Kate's point of view in Kane County, Illinois. And then, yeah, sometimes you'll see these scary looking clouds on days like today, especially in the mountains over here in West Virginia. Yeah, unusual clouds forming. These are my favorite. I call these Dementors because it kind of reminds you that if they get real close to you, they kind of like creep up on you. Look like Dementors from, you guys know what I'm talking about? That's what I call them. I call them atmospheric entities. Yeah. Here's some other, crazy looking clouds from yesterday in Philadelphia. Nice shots. Thank you so much, Jake, for sending that in. And then we've got cars literally up to the daggone hood here in Illinois. Just the flooding is getting pretty nuts. Dang. Another crazy picture from our friend Zach out there in Will County, Illinois. Look at this. Yeah, if you ever see a creepy moving, like low-hanging cloud that's not rotating, make sure to refer to it as an atmospheric entity or a Dementor. That is the official scientific way to do it. It's one of the first things I learned on my first day in digital meteorology school. And again, if you're just now tuning in, the reason the weather intensity score is so high is not because of not necessarily because of the intensity of the storm, it's because of the coverage. We've just got a lot of storms happening out there for millions of people. Again, let me zoom out to the region here. There's 2,000 of you sharing your dots with me now. But look at the storm coverage. I mean, you've got storms over here in Ohio, up into Pennsylvania, up into New York. We do have some stuff getting closer to Washington, D.C. now. Let's check in on this severe thunderstorm warning over here. Now, why didn't the radar look? Okay. Severe thunderstorm warning down here between Dale City and Manassas. That'll be getting really close to Washington, D.C. within like an hour. maybe an hour or so. Yeah, and this is a live shot there from Washington, D.C. You can see some of those towering clouds building in the background. But another thing that you can see here is the haze. Look at the haze. It's so hot out there. We're talking about heat indexes like up above 100, 105, getting close to 110. That's what's fueling these thunderstorms today. So will we be able to have whatever's happening in Washington, D.C. today? I don't know. It looks like there is still flyovers happening.
12 seconds for horizontal flight. Short takeoff and landing capability is achieved by having the nacelles tilted up to 60 degrees. It has a ferry range of over 2,100 nautical miles. Its operational range is 1,100 nautical
I've never seen that.
Cruise at 200.
That's wild.
Knots. The crew performing today's demonstration are from VMM 774, the Wild Goose, who are based at Marine Corps Air Station, New River, North Carolina.
Yeah, I've never seen one of them before. You guys seen one of them?
Goose 11 is Lieutenant Colonel Cheese Thessing.
Looks like a DJI drone. Looks like a drone.
Yummy Schnitker. The Wild Goose deployed to support Special Purpose Marine Air Ground.
Yeah, I know nothing about these aircraft.
Conducted the 2025 NFL Super Bowl.
But if I'd shut up and listen, I'd probably learn something.
And most recently landed in the Boston Commons for Marine Week Boston to celebrate the Marine Corps 250th birthday. We are honored to have them here with us to celebrate America's 250th. Semper Fi, Devil Dogs.
That's cool. So it's like a helicopter. It's a double copter heli. That's what I'm going to call that. Double copter. That's flying around out there in Washington, D.C. I don't know how long these flyovers are going to be able to continue with the storms that are coming in. Again, we got a bunch of severe thunderstorms out here approaching the area. We've got one pretty significant storm down here near Spotsylvania going north. This has got a considerable damage threat on it because we got up to 70-mile-per-hour winds coming out of that. We still have a tornado warning way up here in Stearns County, Minnesota. The other tornado warning that we had has been allowed to
Jack Pepper, and my favourite Force 13 tune is Adventures.